I am straight but I am developing feelings for my male friend, and I think he loves me too. I don't know how to confront him. I, 41, have always considered myself comfortable with who I have grown to be. I have worked hard in life, have a 4-year degree, a great career, financial stability, loving friends, wonderful family. In many ways I have done well for myself. However, in terms of love, I am missing my mark. I have been single for about 7 years. Prior to that I dated my fair share, and never been engaged or married, but I've had long-term relationships, weekend flings, and everything in between. Following my last relationship I decided to take a break from the dating scene and work on my career goals. So far, it's paid off, jumping 2 promotions in 7 years. I have felt unfulfilled in that department, but I was surprised how easily I could go 7 years without missing dating or companionship. I just simply don't miss it much. A friend invited me out for beers and darts a few weeks ago. We usually go to the same little pub, where we know most of the normal faces. It's not uncommon for us to mix with the people playing at the board next to us. This night was no different. 2 guys set up on the board next to ours, and we made small talk with them here and there. One of the men said his goodbyes and left, and the other guy stayed behind and shot darts by himself. We offered him, James, a place on our board and shot some games of Cutthroat. Things got fun. We drank quite a bit and we were having a lot of fun. My friend said he was ready to take off but James and I were having a good time so we decided to stay a bit longer. My friend took off. James and I had a couple more rounds. We had quite a bit in common and it felt like I was hanging out with an old friend. He told me he had a rec room with a pool table and dartboards at his house with a built-in bar. He showed me a few pictures of the room and I was thoroughly impressed. He suggested we go hang out there and I was on board. Since neither of us drove to the bar, we caught an Uber to his house which was only a few minutes away. We shot a few games of pool and chatted about more personal stuff, our past relationships, careers, college, upbringing, etc. James is a lot like me, never married and a career-minded guy. Things sort of took a turn in conversation when James asked me about my sexuality. He asked if I ever had a phase or experimented. I sort of laughed a bit and said no, that wasn't something I'd ever done. He made 1 or 2 small remarks about it in jest and that was it. About another hour passed and I told him I was taking off. We exchanged numbers and agreed to hang out again the following weekend, foregoing the bar and hanging out at his place to cook out on the grill. I get home, off to bed. I get a text from him asking if I made it home safe. I didn't think too much into it but I did tell him I got home safe. The next day, Sunday, I got up and did my normal Sunday shuffle off the Saturday night booze of going on a jog, hitting my favorite lunch spot and recovering the rest of the day on the couch. About 3 p.m. I get a text from James asking if I was interested in coming over around 6 p.m. He was going to grill some fish up and have a couple friends over. I thought that would be fun, so I went. We had another good time. This time I only stayed a couple hours and when I got there he told me his 2 friends canceled so it would just be us. It wasn't a huge deal. He was good company. I took off around 9 p.m. He sent me a text about 10 minutes after leaving saying he had fun and is looking forward to the weekend plans we made. I texted him back that I was looking forward to it as well. The following day James sent me a text telling me about something funny that happened to him at work that morning. I don't keep my phone on me during work so I didn't see it until lunchtime. I feel like it's important to note, I don't text people throughout the day. I guess I'm sort of old school but I don't chit-chat with people via text often. So to me, James is reaching out more than I'm used to friends doing. But I didn't mind. I looked forward to talking to him. After work I went to the gym per usual and home. I saw someone who kinda looked like him. It made me think of him. On one of the TVs in front of the treadmills they were showing a TV show we talked about. It made me think of him. At the grocery store picking up dinner stuff, I walked past the seafood section and it made me think of him. We texted throughout the week. I even started keeping my phone at my desk so I could text him. This isn't like me at all. Finally Saturday comes around and plans go off like normal. I actually got to his place a couple hours early. He suggested I invite my friend I was with when we met, Mark. I did and Mark came along with me. We all had a terrific time. James cooked for us. We had plenty to eat and drink, spent time in the pool, shot darts. It was a blast. The end of the night comes around. Mark said he wanted to take off and again, I felt the urge to stay and hang out longer, which is exactly what I did. This time we sat on his pool deck until 2 a.m. talking about everything you could imagine. I realized the time and had to take off. He understood and instead of shaking hands he hugged me. This is not usual for me whatsoever, but it felt so naturally acceptable, like I wanted him to do it. I left and this time I texted him from my Uber telling him that I'll let him know when I arrive safely. That was a week ago. We didn't hang out this past weekend but we've texted daily and made plans to go hiking this coming Saturday. I thought about the way I feel about him and I've concluded it's the same way you feel when you meet someone who you fall in love with. Coupling that with his questioning me if I've ever fooled around with guys or had an experimental phase kind of makes me think he feels the way I do and he may be gay or at least bi-intimate. I'm torn as far as what to do, because I love this feeling and I think I'm falling in love with this guy. It feels so strange to type that out but I think it's true. He is definitely flirting with me and I have decided I am definitely flirting back with him. Should I have a talk with him directly about this? Update 1. The trip went well. We spent the entire day out hiking. I was very observant in our interactions. However, I didn't want to be so observant that I overthought anything or misinterpreted anything. So I went with the flow and the vibes were great. We hiked a trail for the better part of the day before stopping to rest before making the trek back down. When I had the opportunity in conversation I mentioned that I had thought about his question about me ever having a male-male experiment and I told him that although I hadn't ever really had one or considered it until that point, it stuck with me and I thought I might be curious to try it. I delivered this passively, just so not to put him on the spot. To my comfort, he received it well. He had some genuine sentiments about how short life is and how things are not always so black and white in terms of how things should be. It felt like the time to make a move but I just didn't do it. We were sitting less than 2 feet apart, looking at each other during this conversation and I just didn't do it. It was a matter of nerves getting the best of me. Plus, what if things went south? That'd be a long, awkward walk back to our car, followed by a long ride back to town. Fast forward to the following week. During the week we texted as much as normal. This time I've loosened things up using more emojis, being generally a bit flirty and a bit risque but in a masculine, teasing way, using fitness and physique to goof with him. We got together last night for some drinks at the pub we met at. Following that we went back to his house to play the new NBA 2K20 demo on PS4. I'll admit I'm not very good at video games and needless to say he beat me pretty bad, but I kept the competitive spirit alive and we had a blast. At the end of the night, around 11 p.m. I went to leave. I had been working myself up to kiss him all night, figuring it would be easier with some drinks and me. I went in for our hug. When I pulled back I kept my arms around his back, let him pull back until he was spaced back. He looked me right in the face and sort of smirked and I laid it on him. I went right in and kissed him. It was short, I didn't use much tongue, but I pulled back and said I guess I can say I've experimented now, right? And he sort of chuckled and said yeah, I guess you can. Man, he had a sort of confused smile on his face. I had one on mine and it was fireworks in my stomach. I played it cool. I left and texted him when I got home that I was home safe and I thanked him again for a good time. He replied with a similar sentiment and to my surprise didn't ask me about the kiss. He asked if I wanted to come over Monday night for the Notre Dame game and a cookout. I told him I'd love to and I'll bring some ribs to cook. We have texted as normal today and I can't tell you how excited I am for Monday and to see what happens next. Update 2. Leading up to Monday, we texted like normal. He convinced me to download Snapchat, which I had heard about but sort of wrote off as an app where teens and 20-somethings exchange dirty pictures or where cheating spouses go to because the chats don't stick around. I bid and we had been snapping goofy pictures using the filters, things we bumped into throughout the day. This guy is seriously hilarious. He has this goofball sense of humor and knows how to bring light to any little interaction he comes across. Anyway, so Monday rolls around. I'm excited to hang out and nervous all at the same time. I knew he'd have other friends there, all of which I'd never met before and that wasn't helping the nerves. I get over there around 2. He has one friend already there and is expecting more. They trickle in and I'm doing my best to mingle with all the new faces. Everyone is super friendly and made me feel like one of the boys. I was going to try to hang out until everyone cleared out so I could talk to him about the kiss, which is exactly what I did. I did my best to not elongate conversation so as to give off the night's winding down vibe. After some time everyone left with the exception of one friend who was sleeping off the booze on his couch. I asked James if we could talk outside. We walk outside and the conversation went something like this. I know I kissed you the other day, and I don't know if that was something I should have done. It just sort of felt like the right thing to do in the moment. I've just been thinking about our friendship a lot and I think I may be confused about what we are or where we're heading. I was absolutely out there now. No turning back. I basically just told him I had developed feelings for him and wanted to know where he stood with me. He didn't even hesitate to respond that he'd been wondering the same thing. Why I haven't brought it up before now. Obviously I told him I had never been bisexual or gay before, but the texting all the time, the flirting, the kiss. He reassured me our friendship had a no walls, open door, open communication thing. I could come to him with whatever was on my mind and I just teared up. It wasn't crying, just tearing up, but it was so many emotions all at once. I gave him a hug and told him I appreciated that. We sat down and I explained to him how confused I've been these last couple weeks, how this is all new to me. He is such a good listener. I sort of just rattled off everything that's been on my mind regarding us, my confusion in sexuality, my fears. He is an active listener so he had a sentiment or an answer for most of the things I said. They were all comforting. He told me he has feelings for me, that he wasn't sure if he came on too strong. He is not openly gay. He has been bisexual since his teen years and he explained it that as he's gotten older he's hiding it less and cares less of what people think. Not all of his friends know, and the ones that do know don't care. A few of the guys from the party knew he was bi. I don't know what I would call the gut feeling I had, but explaining everything, talking about it, airing it out with him was like when you're reading a good book late at night in bed. The story's been confusing. You need answers which you think are coming any minute but flipping the page and a new chapter starting. Do you keep reading now or do you save it for tomorrow? I felt like we had gotten enough out in the air that we are on the same page. I have feelings for him, he has feelings for me, this is new for me, this is nothing new for him. He explained that nothing has to change in our friendship. If we wanted to get physical we could but I shouldn't be pressured. I wanted to kiss him, not like the first one where it was just a slight slip of my tongue and a lip press. I turned to him and put my hand on his knee and leaned in. He gently grabbed the back of my head, we kissed. Full on made out for what seemed like ever. It was the most satisfying kiss I've ever had. This where the physical stuff ends for me. I'm not ready for anything further than kissing at the moment. By this time it was nearly 3 in the morning and I had to go. He walked me to my car and we made out a second time before I got in. He told me to get home safe and I did. I texted him to let him know I got home safe and hopped in the shower. I was so emotionally charged that I couldn't get to sleep until around 5 a.m. I ended up calling out of work Tuesday. James and I have plans to hang out again this weekend. He wants to go out for food in a place called Topgolf with me and some of his friends from the party. I've never golfed before so this should be interesting. Lol. I'm really looking forward to it and I'm just taking things day to day at this point. I know where we stand and I'm happy. Despite my best efforts to loosen up, I woke up Sunday more sore than any workout has given me. Golfing really did take its toll on my body. For those who warned me of this, you can now say I told you so. Saturday was terrific. I met with James and 2 of his friends at his house around lunchtime. We went out for a bite to eat and hit the road on an almost 2-hour trip out to Topgolf. James drove us. He and his friends are all big sports guys, more than just keeping up with scores and highlights. They all love going into rosters, predictions. They play fantasy leagues for most every sport and it's a bit hard to keep up with them, I must admit. I found myself secretly Googling some things they were talking about along the ride. Nevertheless, he has a fun group of friends. During the trip up they found out I've never owned a gun and have only shot one when I was a kid. They convinced me we need to change that and go hit a shooting range sometime real soon. So we get to Topgolf, got a bay, and let me tell you, this place is awesome. A bit pricey but I guess it's all in the experience. We had a good time hanging out and they had a hell of a surprise when I was shooting better than one of the guys who'd been golfing since he was a kid. One of his friends got pretty drunk and sat out the last hour or so, Justin, in the truck. His friend who stuck around, Chris, left to take a phone call. James had been flirty most of the night, but not so outwardly that his friends could pick up on it. I tried to follow suit, but I was not as confident as he is, admittedly. When we had a few minutes to ourselves, he asked me if I wanted to stick around when we got back to the house, go for a swim or just watch a movie. I told him I would love that. We didn't stay too late. We took off pretty quickly after Chris got back. On the ride home, it was pretty quiet. Justin was passed out and Chris was buried in his phone. We dropped Justin and Chris off at their houses on the way back and went back to James' house. He made us a couple drinks and we sat on his patio talking about how fun the day's been and just cutting up about the golf and his friend getting plastered. I hadn't brought a swimsuit along, so James lent me one. He was pretty reserved and seemed a little shy once we got to his house, and for the first time I felt like I had the lead in the way things went. I think he was being a little reserved so as not to come on too strong. When we were swimming around, I approached him and just went for it. I put my arms around him and kissed him. It got a little heavy and he went for a reach. I sort of stopped him, and by moving my hips back and he got the idea. We just kissed and floated in the pool for at least half an hour. He suggested we go watch a movie and lay on the couch. That sounded so nice, I can't even tell you. We toweled off, changed clothes, and that's exactly what we did. We put on a movie and just laid on the couch. I was so comfortable laying on him that I fell asleep not even halfway through the movie. He let me sleep through it and woke me up when it was over. He told me I could stay the night if I wanted to. I did. He closed up the house and shut everything down, led me to his room, and we jumped into bed. I don't want to make this too NSFW, but we did end up fooling around and it was honestly better than I played it out in my mind. Like a lot better. I was really nervous, but I don't know why I was so nervous. We fell asleep and I woke up to him up and already showered and changed. He told me he got a text that he needed to be somewhere ASAP. I didn't delay. I got up and dressed. He joked that he wanted to make me breakfast and that he owed me a homemade breakfast next time. That made me smile so big. He walked me to the door and kissed me before I opened it. I left and he sent me a text about an hour later saying he had a really good night and wanted to do it again this coming up weekend. I told him I am supposed to take this weekend to help a family member with a move, but maybe we could get together one day after work. He said that was a good idea. We texted all day yesterday off and on, and I couldn't stop replaying every single second of our interaction. From before Topgolf, to back at his house, to the bedroom stuff. It all keeps replaying like I'm editing a movie. I just keep analyzing everything I can remember, and I think if I keep doing that it's going to drive me crazy. But it's like I'm trying to relive parts of it to feel the same feelings I felt in the moments. I think we're going for food this Wednesday.